Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit, Brexit Britain, a country where the Prime Minister says he got all of the big decisions correct. But Prime Minister, we have 160,000 dead people. Financial, farming, fishing, all in serious crisis. Worst numbers ever in the NHS. Inflation going through the roof. But I'm sure, Prime Minister, you got all the big decisions correct. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. And we have to start with an apology for how my video ended abruptly the other day, because I still had so much things to talk about. Right, but you know how it goes, yeah? You forget to clear your goddamn storage and then shit happens, shit goes down. But anyway, so we go to Prince Andrew, right? Because overnight Prince Andrew's just come out and said that he's going to he wants a jury trial in America, right? And you think, well, I don't know. Well, that's the immediate thought of everybody. Ooh. But you see, I think the situation what he's in now, he's been pushed into having to make that decision anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they can have like a bench trial where it's just a judge, or he could have a jury trial, right? But you know, you sometimes wonder, yeah, who the hell, right, is advising, like, you know, Prince Harry. It's like, you know, it's like another royal, yeah, who completely fucked his life up. It's like bin Salman, isn't it, from Saudi Arabia, right? You know, because he went and had the journalist murdered, right? And you think, well, come on, man, seriously, you must have known. You know, I don't know. You know, I have this feeling, right, that people that are around these people, you know, these guys will just be like, yeah, look, I want to go and murder this journalist. I'm going to get it done probably a week on Tuesday. Right, what we'll do is we'll go to Turkey, we'll grab hold of him, we'll dismember him, right, and then you know, if everything, you know, if everything comes out, then I'll just blame all of them. And there must be people around him going, yes, good idea, that's a very good idea. Where they should be saying, well, someone should be saying to him, you motherfucking stupid. Hey, do you really think, yeah, that you can be travelling around the world in your fucking gold plane? Because now the motherfucker's got a gold plane, yeah, and this shit can't go anywhere really, because people hate him around the world, bin Salman. People don't like him. Do you know what I mean? You know, this is the thing. I don't understand how these royals, right, you know, because you see, the thing is, right, it's easy, right, for the world to turn against the royal. Just do one thing wrong and then see what happens, because the world will turn against you. Just do one serious thing. Do you know what I mean? You know, they can get divorced and things like that, right? But you know, you can't be involved in murders and paedophilia, right? Those type of things, yeah, you can't be involved in, right? Especially as a royal, because people look at you and think to yourself, all of that privilege, right? And you've gone and just fucked it up, right? People would give their whole neck, especially if they had a neck like Tin Lizzie, right? They'd give their whole neck, right, to have these people's life, right? And these people, they've got the life, right? And they managed to completely fuck it up, right? You know, someone should have said to bin Salman, listen, mate, look, the best thing you can do, right, is, you know, you want to get hold of this journalist, right, kidnap his ass, take him back to Saudi Arabia, put him in prison, lock him right down so nobody in the world knows where he is. And if the world think he's dead, run with that for a few years, right? Right? And then when you're ready, bring his ass out of prison, right? And the world will look and go, oh my God, look how we misjudged this man, right? Then you could have still been running all your horses with the Queen and all that shit. Saudi Arabia prisons aren't nice places, right? They're not nice places. But when you go and start dismembering people, right, then the world's going to say, you know what? No, you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. Especially when you're going to other countries and grabbing people out of another country and taking them and doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, right? And then you got Prince Harry now, right? Prince Andrew, right? Who has put himself in this position, right? Through a lack of stupidity, right? Because let me tell you, right, there's no way that he is going to face a jury trial. He's just not going to do it because, these people are going to they're going to comb his whole life. Do you know what I mean? All his sexual experiences, right? Just everything. They're just going to, they'll just tear him to pieces up there. And, and so he can't really have that. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to have to settle this case, right? Which is what he should have done, right, before it hit the media. So you see, right? I'll tell you, bad advice. These people have been getting bad advice for so many years, right? Their advisors have been saying to them, what you just said is a very good idea, right? Whereas the advisors should be saying to them, come on, man, are you sick? Are you stupid? That's what advisors should be saying to them. Advisors are probably too scared, because I heard that Prince Andrew, right, is a right dick, apparently. Do you know what I mean? Most of the because I mean when I watched part of the documentary the other night on Ghislaine, Andrew, and the paedophile, right, and one of the chambermaids, one of the chambermaid type who works in one of the palaces, right? She said, something, yeah? Prince Andrew, right, is entitled. That's how he is, right? And she said he's a horrible, nasty, disgusting person to work for, right? Because he believes that people are beneath him. This man, right, will call downstairs for people to come upstairs and close his motherfucking curtains. Right, and she said one time, yeah, that she went up to close the curtains and she left it slightly ajar, right, and he went right off on her. Do you know what I mean? And she said, and a contrast, yeah, Nelson Mandela come there to stay there, and she said, you know what, Nelson Mandela, right, was grateful for everything that he had in life. She said he was really great. She said she said Nelson Mandela hugged me. That's what she said. She said Nelson Mandela hugged me. You know what I mean? You're working for Prince Andrew, right, for X amount of years. Prince Andrew wouldn't even hug her, right? Even if her whole family was murdered, Prince Andrew wouldn't say, let me give you a hug. Just, so sorry. No. But she said Nelson Mandela, it was a complete different contrast. Do you know what I mean? So we'll have to see how that shit plays out. And we've had staying in America, we've had 39 people missing in a capsized boat, right, in Florida. Right. I mean, they're saying that it's part of this human trafficking business. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, we're more looking at people who are probably trying to seek a better life for themselves. Do you know what I mean? Because the authorities, that's the best way for the authorities to say, oh, these are human trafficking, these are gangs who are doing this, it's gangs who are getting all these people to get in these boats, and say, well, I mean, you could probably cut that out overnight if you really wanted to. Right, if you really was concerned about the people getting into boats and, you know what I mean, and all this type of thing, you could just, you could make it, you could simplify things a lot more by welcoming people, right, rather than saying in a country, right, that you have stolen. Okay, you have stolen the country, and then you've got the cheek, the audacity, the fucking liberty, right, to say to other people, you can't come in. While you're colonialists, you're thieves, you have no right to that country, right? You have absolutely no right to that country, and you have no right to tell somebody else they can't go there. You have no right to do that. It's not your country. You have stolen the country, right? It's just amazing, yeah, how Westerners have stolen so many countries around the world, right? And then they want to start implementing, right, their disgusting racist rules in countries that they have stolen. Just, I don't, I seriously, I don't understand how these people can even look at themselves in the mirror and think, right, that they have any type of humanity anywhere, just anywhere, right? There's 39 people dead, right? Because, your restrictions are so difficult, right, for people to get round that they have to try and smuggle themselves into such a vast country. Right? It's it's not as if it's not as if to say America is a country that's broke. It hasn't got any money. One of the richest countries in the world. Right? They've got towns. You've got towns and cities that are completely dilapidated. Right? It's not. They could. They could Well, I think Biden's trying a lot of regeneration and all these type of things. I mean, a lot of people's blocking all the shit. You know what I mean? But for this type of thing to be happening, right, in 2022, right, the Americans should be holding your head in shame. Right? And you should really fix yourself up, because, as I said, right, that country is a stolen country, doesn't belong to you, right? But I think it's it seems to be the fragility, right, of, because I saw something in America. I was watching something on YouTube. I saw something in America, yeah, where you had white nationalists going and knocking on people's front doors. Right? So they knocked on this door. A man come over and said, "Hello, how can I help you?" He said, "Yes, we're white nationalists. Can we speak to you?" And he went like, just about a minute. Then he come back over to town and went like, "Did you say you're white nationalists?" Right? And the guy went, "Yeah." Right? And all of a sudden, the man's wife come and went like, "No, thank you, we're not interested." At which stage the white nationalist said, "Oh, can I leave you a leaflet? Can I leave you some paperwork?" This is where America is. They've got white nationalists going door to door, knocking on people's doors. The white nationalists, these are some really fragile people, because they think to themselves, "Oh no, life is so difficult. It's so hard for me, right? Look how the government's treating us, right? And all these black people, they're becoming equal to us, right? And it's not fair." Try living my motherfucking life, and then you'll see about what's not fair. You fucking idiot, right? So now, I don't know if you see this story about this Maida Vale story, yeah, where it seems, right, there was a man like stabbing up a woman, right, outside, I think it was outside a school or something like that, right, and some next guy's come round, he's in his car, right, and he's just come, and he must have seen what's going on, right, and he's just driven straight into this guy and just taken this guy out who's stabbing up the girl, right, but obviously the guy, he's murdered her. Right, the guy stabbed her up and he's murdered her, and then this guy in this car, he's killed him. Do you know what I mean? So now the guy that was driving the car, he's I'm not sure if they've let him out of the police station, but he was being held on like a murder charge. Do you know what I mean? But the family have come out and said, you know what? The family of the woman who was getting stabbed up, who got murdered, has come out and said, no, this man's a hero. Right, if obviously if a few seconds earlier that he might have even saved the woman. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's happened. I think it was like a Clio. It was like a blue Clio, right? And when I saw the Clio was like wedged onto a wall, right? So he must have really hit this guy really, really hard. You know what I mean? Well, to kill him anyway. He must have hit him really, really hard. So, and there's another really obscure story that I heard, yeah. Out of Bristol, I heard this one last night. Out of Bristol, right, where a guy's been found not guilty, yeah, for manslaughter, because apparently, yeah, he apprehended a guy who he believed was a burglar, right, and then he held him down in the prone position with this guy on his back for 9 minutes or whatever, right, and the guy was saying to him, "Oh, I can't breathe," and the guy said to him, "I don't care what you can't fucking do, you're staying right fucking there," right, and he's ended up, right, the guy ended up, I think he ended up dying in hospital a week later or something like that, right. Now in court, right, they said, oh, now they don't know, right, whether or not the guy who got killed is a burglar. They don't know whether he's a burglar or not. They have no clue, right? But he had I think he must have had methadone and something else in his system, right? Which, I mean, if you know anything, right? If you know anything about drug users, right? So methadone, obviously, that's a supplement for heroin. So whether or not whether or not, I don't know, you know, there could be I suppose they must be able to track it and say it's actually methadone, not going to be like a painkiller that contains like you know, that's a heroin based, right? So so I think they're saying he had methadone in his system, right? But if you know anything about these type of drug things, right? What you'd know is this, right? Is that heroin addicts, right, are not burglars. They're not, but heroin addicts are not burglars. Heroin addicts are thieves. But you know, they're going, you know, they just need a small quick buck, right? So that's why they're not really burglars. They're more going to supermarkets and they'll try and steal like a load of cheese or a load of meat or loads of like painkillers, you know, or batteries, you know, things like that they can just take into another shop that will just buy it off them just like that, right? Or they'll go into a shop and they'll steal like the charity box from the shop. Do you know what I mean? That's what your heroin addict does, right? Or they look in cars and stuff like that, you know, and they'll grab your sat nav or they'll grab your phone off the seat if you leave it in the car. Do you know what I mean? Right? That's what your heroin. Those are the type of crimes what your heroin addict does, right? Because they just need that quick bit of cash, right? You know, your burglars are more. They'll be more your people who are on crack and things like that because they need much more money, right? So that's why they will burgle, right? So this guy, as I said, yeah, he's been held down and he's been killed, right? Which I say, you know, because they didn't know whether he was the burglar or not for definite. But the court have told the judge has said to the jury, you have to assume that this guy was a burglar. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is very, very dangerous because, you know, now you've said to them, well, you assume he was a burglar, right? Because for all we know, right, these guys might have had an issue, right? And he's just seen him. Right, he's seen him because this guy's a carer. He's a carer, right? So he must have been in the house or whatever, caring for the person. I'm not sure whether or not this guy was like trying to rob next door or trying to rob that. What he said was trying to rob that house or trying to rob next door, whatever. But he's held him down outside, right? So for me, I just look at that and think, well, and especially as the jury have found this guy not guilty, right, for manslaughter, right? You know, now, you know, for all we know, these guys might have had histories. For all we know, right? Now, you know, especially as you couldn't prove that this guy was actually the burglar. Do you know what I mean? I just can't see how you can just grab hold of someone in the street and just hold them down and just say, well, you know what, yeah, this guy is a burglar, that's why I've done it. Because that could happen to any of us. Any of us that could happen to. You know, someone could just come and grab hold of us, chow us on the floor, and just say, yeah, you're a burglar, right? And do you know what I mean? And you've got nothing to do, and you've got nothing to do with anything. And then you end up dead, and the person, oh, well, you're a burglar. And the police are like, well, there has been some burglaries in the area, well, and you know, so yeah, it could be. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's not even the police, because the police have charged this guy with manslaughter, right? But his defence, that's what his defence was, and the jury have and the court have said, well, you have to treat this guy as the burglar, which I don't know the reason for that, but that's what they've done. Do you know what I mean? So I just looked at that story and I thought that's a bit it's a bit off, you know. And we have oh yeah, Bradford, right, has been stripped of its all, right, its children's services, right, because of, I think it's the death of the last because of the death of the last child that happened in Bradford. So they've been stripped of all of it. Do you know what I mean? Because, and too right as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know who's going to take it up if the next council along is going to take it up for the next couple of years until obviously Bradford City Council have got themselves in order. I suppose that could be the thing that's happening, but I don't know. And then we have Boris Johnson was ambushed by cake. Well, what the hell are you talking about? He was ambushed by cake. Yeah, the man was ambushed by a cake. He didn't realise. And when you hear, all of the Tory MPs coming out, right, to defend this absolute clown, you just have to think to yourself, seriously, these people, they've got absolutely no clue, right? And it's just amazing, right? How they speak about other countries, speak about other countries, right? Places that are dictatorships, right? And they speak about those countries and say, well, and how their politicians, just back whatever the leader's gonna do, just back it. And we've got exactly the same thing over here. But the difference is, we are not supposed to be a dictatorship. Right? I don't know why it is that so much of the right wing want to live in a dictatorship. Right? In Britain and America, right? That's what it seems. The Trump supporters want Trump as their dictator, and it seems over here there's so much people who want Boris Johnson as their dictator. So Boris Johnson, they send all these people out to say all this, just say all this different nonsense. He was ambushed by cake, and then you had like Andrew Rosendale, I believe, saying yesterday, well, he hasn't robbed a bank. I say, well, okay, if we can go with, at least he's not a paedophile as well. Be serious. Seriously. And these are the people. I saw an interview. What's his name? It was on the same show as Boris Johnson. Have I got news for you, innit? Right. But I saw he was Ian Heslop, right? He was speaking to some MPs the other day, right, about and they were speaking about the case where Boris Johnson just tried to change the rules, right, for Owen Patterson, right? And do you know something, right? I just say to you, right, please check that out, because you'll realise, how stupid these MPs really are when you see them in front of someone like Ian Hislop, right, who just made them just look like just real idiots. Because these guys were coming up with so many different reasons, right, as to why an MP might not understand what lobbying is. If you say so many different reasons, these guys will start, and you think to yourself, are you 10, mate? Because you're just being a complete dick. You're being completely ridiculous. You're being an idiot, right? Because when I tell you some of the things what these guys, and I've never worked in the Houses of Parliament, but I know what lobbying is. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to know what lobbying is, right? And to know whether you're doing it or not. It doesn't take a genius to know this. Do you know what I mean? And so. I'll just say to you, just check that video out, with Ian Hislop and in the committee the other day, because it's just like, it's cringeworthy, really, because he just made them look so stupid. And you think to yourself, the minute you come up against someone like Ian, because he's very, very educated, but he really puts things over, right, in a very, very simplified manner. Very, very simple manner. He just puts things over, right? And and whereas the politicians try and use they try and use a lot of big words, right? So people think, they're very bright. They know how to put the correct word in the correct place. So they're very, very bright. But no, they're not. No, they're not. Just watch that interview and then you'll be like, no, they're not. They're not, right? And the Chancellor, right, is distancing himself away from his new tax that him and Boris Johnson, the new national insurance tax, right? The Chancellor's just there. The other day he called it like Boris Johnson's new tax. I was like, what? What's this about? Right? But you see, This is all, you know, you know, you look at the Chancellor, right, and you think to yourself, well, you know, because remember Boris Johnson, yeah, and the Chancellor, these guys promised you all the levelling up agenda. They said, we're going to level you up. This is what we're going to do for you. We're going to level you up. And I mean, how have they started to level you up so far? Because you know what's going to happen with the levelling up, right? They'll put a new zebra crossing in a couple of new zebra crossings in your area. You know, they might even give you a new leisure centre. And a new mother and baby care unit, right? And that's your levelling up. Those are the type of things to level you up. There's nothing real there. You know, if you want to be levelled up, yeah, they need to give you some motherfucking cash to level you up. They need to help you out, make sure that your life is better off, a better job, a better standard of living, right? Even maybe somewhere better to live. That's levelling you up. But they've had no intention of they've had no intention of levelling you up. Because if those can, right, they say, you know what we're going to do, right, is in cities, in every city now, what we're going to have is free travel inside cities now. Your bus travel, your buses and all these type of things, it's all going to be free for the people, because because we're levelling you up. That's what we're doing. Right? We're levelling you up. So, you know, to help level you up, what we're going to do is, if you've got a vehicle, right, that's a diesel or it's, you know, or it's not ULEZ friendly, right? What we'll do is we'll give you £10,000, right, to, you know, so to, you know, plus your motor, so you can get so you know, and then we'll make finance easier for you to get, so you can get yourself a new van or a new car, right, which is ULEZ friendly. But no, what have they done? They've brought in the ULEZ, right, when they haven't even got the infrastructure for everybody to have a hybrid car or electric car. They haven't got the infrastructure. They haven't even got all the cars. Because, you know, but they're still helping to level you up. You know, I mean, they could have really tried to level you up, right, by giving us all a universal basic income. Because that would help, wouldn't it? Now that would be real levelling up. To say, you know what, yeah, we're going to let everybody, right, live off the wealth of the country, right? We're going to take back all of the utility companies, because, you know, that would be helping to level you up. Right? Because then we can give you lower energy costs, because we haven't got yet all of the shareholders, right, taking billions of pounds out of this country, right, you know, through things like the Dartford crossing, you know, the gas, the electric, the water, you know, so all the utility companies, right, you know, we're going to take back all the train lines that we've sold off, right, and put all that money back into this country for the people of this country. That would be helping to level you up. Right? You know, as I said, your big one will be your universal basic income. Taking back all the utilities. These are the things that you would need to level you up. Right? Not a couple of like Pelican crossings, right, and a leisure centre. Right? And then they might reopen your library if you're lucky. Right, this is the thing, right? Leveling up, yeah, it would mean, right, that, you know, that they wanted to bring your life up, and you think, well, why would they want to do that for you? Who the hell are you? I don't want to do that for you. I've got loads to talk about. Still, but I'm 28 minutes in, so we're going to run for a bit of Brexit. But I still need to speak about, like, you know, the build up of the Soviet Union as well. Soviet Union of Russia on the Ukraine border. We can talk about that in another video, right? And Tory MPs, right, have said if they get rid of Boris, right, you know, they might get rid of Brexit. I say, well, how are you going to do that? Because this is what I'm wondering. Well, what's going to happen there? How are you going to do that? Because I don't know if you know, because I think it's just one of those stories, because this was in the Express, right? And it's just one of those things where the Express is just trying to wind people up, Do you know what I mean? Saying, well, if they get rid of Boris, you know, that means they want to get rid of Brexit. And so, because sometimes I'm listening to the radio and I think to myself, do these people realise how badly Brexit is going? Because Brexit is going really badly. It's going really shit. Right? You know, you can see, right, from space, right, from the Google Maps, right, you can see the queues at Dover. Right, from Google Maps. Right, so Brexit is going really, really badly. It's going as bad as it could possibly go. Right? But the Express is still saying to people, well, if they get rid of Boris, right, then you know they'll get rid of Brexit. I think, well, yeah, but that would mean that you're saying that that we'd get back into the EU, and how would we do that? Because you know this country has got absolutely no chance at all of getting back into the EU, unless right, there's some clause somewhere in the withdrawal agreement that says you know, after like 4 or 5 years, right, if you find you've made a mistake, you could just rejoin in the you know, under the same terms. Unless there's that type of terms, right, but I don't believe there is, right. And you know, let me tell you, right, there is no appetite, right, for this country to be let back into the EU by the EU. Absolutely none. You've got zero chance. Buckley's, right? So I don't know what it is, right, that the Express actually think they're doing, but it's just they're just on the wind up again. They keep on winding people up, right? And the Financial Times are now, you know, and now starting to speak about obviously the financial services in this country, because now because you know they're finally talking about the regulations, right? Look, I've been trying to explain to people for the longest of time, that the financial services in this country is finished. They've finished it off because I can guarantee you exactly what's happening. I don't even work in the financial services. I can guarantee you exactly what's happening. I know exactly what's happening, right? To work in the financial services, right, you don't have to be in the EU to work from the EU, right? These guys could just be working. They could be working in Brixton, right? They could be working in Forest Gate, right? They could be working in Dalston, right? They could be working in Hampstead Heath. It doesn't really matter, right? They don't need, you know, if they, you know, all they need probably just a small office, just a small office space, which can probably be a PO box they can have, you know, as their office in whatever country in Europe, and they could just keep their ass here and just work from here, right? And then obviously their taxes have to be paid in that country, right? But obviously, you know, but we still get part of the taxes, because anything they buy in this country, we still get, you know, there's the VAT and all that we get off, you know, so we still get, so obviously we still get something from them. It's just not the multi-millions that they're making. We just don't get part of that. But you know, they buy things over in this country, so I suppose it all works out. And it looks like, yeah, that Sinn Fein have blocked the DUP over this over the Irish border issue. Do you know what I mean? I don't actually know what the whole, because I haven't actually read into the whole situation too much. I've just seen a bit of a headline, but it looks like Sinn Fein have just come up and just said, we're blocking this. Do you know what I mean? So you know, so them two obviously going to be back and forward over the Irish border. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, I think I have this feeling that Sinn Fein is okay with how things are going at the moment, because you know, the way how Ireland is going, the way Ireland is heading to be reunified, right? You know, thanks to Boris Johnson. That's where we're heading. Anyway, guys, look, I'm 33 minutes in. I really wasn't expecting to speak for this long, so I have to bid you farewell. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.